let's talk Browns
football.
Yeah. So the Browns defense, I know that it's like saying, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play?
Yeah.
We've really been brutal on this defense. But truth be told, and I know you can't take those 5 breakdowns for 209 yards out.
But other than that
nasty wart on the tip of her nose, do you think she's pretty?
And the crooked teeth in the back.
You got to be able to.
Pretty good.
You got to be able to see past those things.
And I know it's impossible.
She got a great personality.
That's the Browns defense.
Guys, here's a good way to put it.
But they've been good.
But here's a good way to put it, Jay. Here's a good way to
breakdowns.
put it. They're not. The problem is not the talent.
No.
The problem is communication and execution, right? I mean, it's not the talent. They have the players talented enough to do it. They just got their heads up their ass in terms of communicating.
And you know what? I'm not even – I can hear anybody that's watching this, the comment section is flooded. Joe Woods is terrible. Joe Woods, that's got to be on coaching.
What do you say to that?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, he's got to take some blame.
It maybe what it is. If there's communication issues, then the defense may be too complex for them. It's too much that you're trying to do.
Oh, really?
That's a possibility.
You know, you had the long pass against the Eagles in the preseason. Those weren't the starters.
Correct.
Then you have different players that are just confused.
Yeah.
That's what leads me to believe that this is a systemic problem and not necessarily an individual problem, because you got the backups, you got the starters, you got different starters. It seems like the whole process is flawed.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think because it's literally can all be fixed with a 3-second conversation. Like
what is that conversation?
Communicating what we in. Okay, so they
take us through the green sticker nonsense. What's that all about?
I don't know.
Denzel brought it up.
Whoever has it, they need to make it consistent.
Anthony Walker currently wears it.
Okay, that's what I thought. He's the Mike linebacker, so of course he is. So he's the one that's getting the play call, and he's the one. But that's the thing. When we did it, we didn't care who had the green sticker. You look to the sideline and signal the call in. That way, everybody's on the same. Everybody looking to the sideline, they signal it in, and we all see what the call is. All right, boom. Now I'm looking at the corner. If I'm at safety, I'm looking at the corner. Hey, we in cover 4. We in read in this play. We in read, or we in cover 3. Like he say it, he say it back to me. Now we both know. Boom. I turn to the safety. We in read. What you in? We in read. All right. So now. Everybody, all 4 of them have the communication that we all are on the same page.
How long does that process take? 2 seconds?
2 seconds.
And why is this not happening, Ty? Are they too cocky that they know each other?
Yes, that's the problem.
Yeah.
They think we all sat in the same meeting room. We all watched the same film. So when it comes up, oh, he got it. He know. If I see it, then he probably know. And the problem is they assuming that everybody understands things.
That's really
when
bad.
them pieces change, you got to be able to talk it out. Even if you know that he knows, still say it to him, because you never know. Obviously, you got 2 games to show you that they're not 100% sure.
Right.
So I think what he needs to do, Joe Woods needs to stop. Because if you listen to Grant Delpit, he says we got 2 call coverages that could possibly happen on this play. Well, if everybody's not seeing the formation the same way, that'll lead to somebody not playing it correctly, and that's what happened on Denzel.
Someone read it incorrectly.
Yeah, Denzel read it correctly.
So that's not a
the other 10 read it a different way.
That's not even miscommunication. That's just
too much
processing error.
It's too much. Just say we in cover 3. That's it. Ain't no, if they come out in 3-by-2, 3-by-1, 2-by, we run in cover 3. That's it.
Yeah.
If it's empty, we gonna play it like this, or if it's 2-by-2, we gonna play. No, we cover 3. Ain't no checks.
So Tyvis, I mean, in a perfect world, the coach will do that, because then you have the option to switch because you have a better defense for the call of the offense.
That's right.
However, better to keep it more vanilla or simple than to have the breakdown trying to be too creative, right?
You can live if they come out and we call cover 3 and they run a cover 3 beater. That's part of the game. You can live. You tackle it, at least somebody will be around there to make a play. If you bust the coverage, somebody's running wide open and there's no.
As we've seen.
Exactly.
Why no bump?
Why no bump?
Yeah, why no at the line?
Disrupting routes. That is dictated by the formation. So in certain formations, if it's a reduced formation, you can't press it.
I understand that, but there's a lot of times that we could have pressed.
So if they're calling cover 3, okay, now you can learn this. Yeah. Anybody that's watching can learn this. Y'all can go play for the Browns today. So this is how we do it. And if it's cover 3, yeah.
Okay.
At least he'll know what he's doing.
Okay.
And cover 3, how they do it is if it's one receiver to your side, you man, so you can press it.
Right.
Even if it's cover 3, because it's only one guy.
And is that up to the player, or is that dictated by the coach?
They say you want it to be man.
Right.
On the playbook, when you read the playbook, it says man.
No, but you're saying it could either be press or he can play off. Who's making the decision?
The coaches want everything to look the same, so you really want to press.
Okay.
Everything. When I was in Seattle, San Fran, Dallas, we all ran the same press. Everybody press.
That's anytime it's 3-by-1.
If it's when you got one to your side.
Right.
Even if it's when it's 2 receivers to your side, you still want to press, but you got to bail on the snap because you have to be able to see 2.
So you're showing press, but you're backing
bailing out on the snap.
Okay.
So as soon as the ball is snapped, boom, get out and get back.
Got it.
I've never been a fan of people that just play off. You gotta have a special talent because you're giving up too much. They can throw the jailbreak or the bubble out there.
There's space right off jump.
Exactly. And I'm not a fan of that. I press everything, and if I'm not playing man, I will bail. That's the best way to do it. Now, if they're in a reduced split, you can't press that.
I understand
so
that.
So that's why on the Corey Davis thing, they was in a reduced split, so you had to play it off.
Yeah, and I wasn't speaking specifically of that play. I just don't see them pressing much at all.
No, I think they do press. I gotta go back and watch it again, but for the most part, I know Denzel prefers to press.
And I think his skill set is built for him to do that.
This is a coaching decision.
If he's playing off and it's not a reduced split, then the only other way I can see it is remember when I told you in the Carolina game for the Robbie Anderson, they had to read something?
Yep.
That's the only way you can play off. Because you're too busy trying to read what number 2 is doing, so you can't see it from a press line.
In your experience, is this problem something that they can make a few tweaks and it's instantly fixed and it doesn't rear its head again?
Yes, it's literally a conversation.
He's got to simplify
it,
right?
Why wasn't that conversation had, though, after the Carolina game?
Tyvis is going to break this down.
I know he is. I'm not asking him about specifics. I'm being macro here. We're going to dive into the micro of each of those plays. I'm talking about in the big picture.
Why?
You're saying, a 3-second conversation fixes it. I'm guessing that conversation happened after the Carolina game.
When I was in Seattle, San Fran, and Dallas, we didn't bust coverages. You know why? Because we talk. We hand signal.
Right, but it carried over from Carolina.
I don't know why they don't want to do it.
Why did it carry over from Carolina
because
to the Jets?
The Corey Davis one was literally 10 people played one thing and one person didn't. So 10 people was on the same page.
But then the same thing happened again this week.
The Robbie Anderson thing, like I said, the Robbie Anderson, you could blame that on coaching because he wasn't clear. It was gray area, so that's why it led to what it led to.
Okay.
But this last one, the call was great. If 11
why
people,
are they not ultimately? Is the coach telling them to communicate and they're being defiant about it for some reason? Or are they just so cocky they don't think they need to?
So
do you do hand signals because you don't want the other team to hear,
No, you do hand signals so everybody knows because it's so loud. You're on defense, so everybody's screaming. So
is
they're
it
not
possible?
Going to hear you.
Is it possible Denzel missed the hand signal, or did it not happen?
I don't know if they signal or not.
Okay,
that's the thing.
Why did Denzel bring up the green sticker? I'm wondering does he want it and he's upset that he doesn't have it?
If he's bringing up the green sticker, then it tells me that only Anthony Walker is getting the call and he has to relay it to 11 people or 10 other people.
Right.
And if that's the case, they need to switch that and make somebody on the sideline signal the call. Please signal. So everybody, you can't rely on one person to tell 10 people. Unless, if you're going to do that, you have to huddle up.
Hold on.
You have to come to the They don't huddle.
So, Tyvis, when you were in all your stops, you had one guy with the green dot who was getting in his helmet.
Bobby.
And then there was somebody on the sideline signaling to the rest of you.
Yes.
But you saying that might not be happening with the Browns? Have you ever heard of a team not doing that?
Yeah, it's possible, but
why would you do it that way?
Why would you do it?
Yeah, why would you have other guys that get the signal?
Like why would you have somebody signal on the
signal on the sideline?
Yeah. I don't know why you wouldn't signal on it. Maybe because somebody might steal the signal.
That's what I was going to say.
That's the only thing.
Don't they always have decoys?
Defense at that. This is the thing. The defense. Everybody knows what the Browns is running. Is that defensive scheme is one of those ones. Yeah, you know we in, but
especially the Jets coach.
Exactly.
He knows it as well as anybody.
He made it. So it's one of the ones that it's only certain ways that you can beat this defense. If you're running cover 3, it's only so many 3-beaters that you can run. You need to know that and know how to play those beaters. If you do that, you'll be fine.
Give me a percentage chance that it's fixed against the Steelers.
1,000%.
Better be.
Wow.
I'm just glad you didn't say 99.9.
1,000%. Listen, they had a players-only meeting last night. That's
did?
what that's about.
The defense did, yeah.
That's what this about.
Yeah.
Getting it fixed.
Yeah, we can't listen.
I wish that would have happened after the Carolina game.
They went up there. They had that players-only meeting, and they said, as a defense, somebody stood up on that stage and they said, "Listen, our coaches have been thrown under the bus, and it ain't on them. We got too much talent on this team to be sitting here BSing like we doing. We got to come here, lock in, communicate."
Who led that meeting?
I don't know who led it. Don't care, but I'm going to tell you, I know exactly what was said because I've been in meetings like this. We're not about to waste this time. Like, this team is too talented. We too good. We can't have that ever happen again. I don't care what we need to do. If we need to watch film, sit down, talk, communicate, throw gang signs, whatever it is, we better make sure that we do it Thursday night. We cannot afford to lose this game.
I like the
Thursday.
1,000%.
Yeah,
1,000%. They're not having that, though. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're going to overemphasize that.
Speaking of Thursday night, guys, like we've talked so much about the secondary because that's been the big thing, right? The breakdowns, although some of it's been on JOK, which we'll get to later.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very nervous. Like, the Steelers' offensive line stinks.
Yeah.
And that should be a huge advantage in the trenches for the Browns. However, Clowney's not playing, and we don't know what Myles Garrett's status is. Kevin Stefanski yesterday, you were there, Jason, right?
Yeah.
He was very, he never gives any answers, so maybe I shouldn't read into it. But he was very shady when it came to Myles Garrett. If Myles Garrett doesn't play,
This is a problem.
they got nothing on the defensive line.
That's a bunch of guys. It's time to step up.
Yeah.
That's what that means. But I don't see why he wouldn't play.
I believe he'll play.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
anything,
Myles
but I
Garrett.
believe
Yeah,
he'll play.
I
I
think
think
so,
if
too.
Myles Garrett's come off to me is if he has a pulse in his
gonna
body,
play.
he's going out there. Because he knows how much that they need him.
He's gotta dominate.
Especially with going against Pittsburgh and them having this great defense. It's going to be a defensive game. Whoever has the best defense is going to win this game.
I agree, and I think it'll be a low scoring
And they're
game.
without
Me
T.J.
too.
Watt.
Exactly.
Which is a devastating, obviously, loss for them.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of talk, and we heard this last year, and everybody that was screaming it the first half of the season scurried under the couch for the second half of the season. But I heard a lot of calls for Joe Woods' job last year, first half.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing a lot of calls for Joe Woods' job already. Is he coaching for his job the rest of the way, or are we making way more of that?
Is he coaching for his job?
I mean, I know everybody's coaching for their job. This is the
I'm about to say,
not-for-long
yeah.
league.
If the defense stinks this year,
That's,
he's going to get fired.
That's what I
Yes.
think.
If this continues,
it depends on how the defense finishes out. If they continue to have coverage busts and stuff like that, then clearly what he's doing is not getting through to the players. And
Can't fire all the players.
It's too complex. So they will have to make a change in that area. But like I said, the way I look at it, the defense that he's calling, if they ran it, it would be no plays. They would literally cancel everything out that they're doing.
Doesn't
but
that
the
make you
problem
sick, though?
is
It does. Well, you said the Carolina,
does.
though, might have been on Woods because there was some gray area.
The gray area.
I'm not Robbie Anderson.
Exactly, but I think they cleared that up. I don't think that will.
Well, look, he turned it around last year,
They
and he
won't-
turned it around in incredible fashion.
Yeah.
They
True,
were a
but
top
they-
5 defense at the end of the year last year.
But this year, there's no excuse. Last year, they played the Chiefs to start the season. They played good offensive teams.
They did.
And there were a lot of new players on the defense. This year, they're starting against 4 of the worst offenses in the league. And
Not 2, not 3.
Yeah, right.
You sound like LeBron now.
And there's no new players on the team.
No, you're right.
So
no,
there's
I
no
agree.
excuse this year.
No, I
I'm
agree.
firing him now is stupid. Anybody saying
No,
that's dumb.
yeah, you're not
But
gonna-
if they have a bad season, I mean, if the Browns have a bad season, everybody might get fired.
But that's the thing, though. Outside of the coverage bus, the defense is great. I mean, they're not.
Well,
really,
that's why I started
makes
with
the coverage
other
bus
than
less
that.
excusable.
They've had a great personality.
58 minutes. Listen, 58 minutes of that game went by, and it was one coverage bust that led to a touchdown.
So, you know
that was
what?
technically 10 points.
Maybe they're the librarian with their hair up and the frumpy
glasses.
shoes and the
man.
glasses.
Here we
And
go.
maybe they're about to
On
take all
Friday
that
night,
stuff
let's go.
off, pull the hairpin out, throw their hair around, and we're going to be like, it's a supermodel under there.
Got it made. Got it made.
It's there. Like, I see the vision. Like, it's literally great calling the right plays.
You're not worried.
I'm really not. Because
Okay.
it's when I tell you, and it sounds so, like, it seems like it's so much more. But if they talk before the play, I've talked all the way into the place the ball is snapped. It would eliminate so much of this stuff that's going on. I promise you, if they just talk.
So what has Kevin Stefanski been doing for the last 72 hours? Because really, he has no input on the defense.
Not
but
really.
obviously, but this does fall on him as being the head coach. So what's Kevin Stefanski doing for these last 72 hours?
Well, Kevin Stefanski is, first of all, as a head coach, you have to overlook everybody. You have to look at the defense and say, what was the problem? Communication's an error. So he goes in the meeting room. Y'all have to communicate. We will stop practice if every play I better hear something. That's, as a head coach, that's what he's going to say. Then he has to go look at the special teams coach and say, which I'm going to draw that up. What the heck are we doing on special teams on onside kick? We have to fix that. And then
the fake punt.
Then offensively, obviously he's the head honcho on that. He'll have to talk about situational football. We have to be smarter situations. Don't make this mistake again and stuff like that.
We talked yesterday.
But they have to. The number one thing he'll preach is that we made mistakes. We have to turn the page and we have to get ready for Pittsburgh. And that's probably what's been going on for the past 48 hours.
Guys, the bad news is there's good and bad news here when it comes to the Steelers. The bad news is that the Steelers are the best coached team of the three teams you've played so far. The good news is, as much as I'm not a Baker guy, as we all know, and as much as I think Joe Flacco stinks at this point in his career, although he played very well, I think Mitch Trubisky is the worst of those three quarterbacks.
It looks like it right now.
He's been terrible, and their offensive line's been terrible.
And they're already starting the cries for Kenny. And,
I wonder how much longer this is going to go.
Before they make the switch. When's their bye week? Do we know when the Steelers' bye week is?
I don't know.
Oftentimes that's when quarterbacks,
the
coaches
Steelers
make
don't
the change.
make panic moves traditionally.
No, they don't.
And I understand.
And there's no Kenny Pickett's no short thing
No,
either.
but he did have a good camp. But you're not going to once you take that hay out of the barn, you can't put it back in.
Yeah,
that's right.
So I understand starting with
Week
Trubisky.
9 is their bye, by the way.
I don't think it'll be that long.
No.
I think Kenny Pickett will be the quarterback long before then.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah. At the rate they're going.
Trubisky has not looked good at all.
Week 9 is the bye.
But
They still have line issues, too. I mean,
part of it, guys, is they are playing. Trubisky, I never thought was very good, but I'll take him off the hook a little bit because a lot of it is the play calling, and they are a conservative offense. They don't want to. They're scared to throw the ball down the field because the offensive line can't
Pittsburgh
protect.
wants to put Matt Canada on a rocket ship and fire him to the moon.
Yeah, he is really
the
hot
offensive
seat,
coordinator.
man. Oh my God.
But they want to go back to Steeler football and dominate like the Browns do on the ground.
Well,
but
they don't have the line.
They got the line for that.
And
Yeah.
Najee Harris, a nice player, but he ain't Nick Chubb and he ain't Kareem Hunt.
And we're finding that out.
And they only have one guy.
Yeah.
And he on my fantasy team.
Well, he's a workhorse, but he's not working.
Yeah.
I'm putting him on the bench. I can't wait till we talk to Dave.
I wanted to ask you, I know you played special teams.
Yes.
The missed extra point was interesting to me.
Yeah,
because there was a guy who came off the corner completely untouched, and he was going to block that if the ball was kicked down the middle. I went back and looked at it last night after we talked about it on the show yesterday. To me, it felt like, and I'm not letting him off the hook, and he didn't use this as an excuse. Cade York said, I missed it, I'll be better next time.
He said he thought he hit it well. He was surprised he pushed it.
Right, and I know he didn't say anything about that, but man, when you go back and look at it, whether he subconsciously or consciously felt that edge guy coming, that kick was about to be blocked. And it looked to me like he just said, well, I'm going to push it off to the right to make sure he doesn't have a clean line at it.
That's probably what happened.
But
as a kicker, you keep your head down and you keep your eye on the ball.
But you feel
but
that.
if you see that color jersey, it's going to make you,
And so that's another thing. I know we're not breaking that down, but I don't know.
Special teams just got to be better. The punt, the punt, the onside.
The fake punt, the onside kick, and the extra point.
Yeah, that's
not good enough.
You can't have that's tactical errors.
Well, you know what? All the great coaches will tell you there's 3 phases to football.
Exactly.
And go ahead and ignore one, and then see how that works out for you.
Any of those 3 plays don't happen, the Browns still win the game. Well, the missed extra point, at least they would have gone to overtime.
At least you've got that.
Yeah. Who knows
Okay,
from there?
the only other thing that I had on my note sheet that I thought I'd like to talk about is, and it's a gray area because we don't know if Miles is going to be in there.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that the Steelers are a conservative offense. We know that they want to run the ball. They haven't been able to do that with any success this year. We have talked about the weakness to the Browns' defense was the interior line, and obviously we know what Coach Tomlin's going to do. He's going to attack the weakness. Do you guys think that the Steelers will have more success running the ball against the Browns than they have so far this year? Because if they don't have a run game, I think this is a victory for the Browns. I think the only way the Browns lose it is if Pittsburgh can put together a ground game, take long stretches of clock away, and hope to win a close, low-scoring game.
I don't think they do. I don't think they will be able to run the ball. I think in this defense particularly, it's very hard to run the defense because of how it's structured. You got that extra safety in there for run protection in the box. And with them knowing that they want to run the ball more than likely, they'll stack the box more often. As long as those defensive tackles don't get blown off the ball and they can hold a gap, it'll allow them linebackers to hit their gap
and make the
plays.
Okay.
So the defensive tackle position will get tested for sure. They're going to want to run traps and dives and stuff like that. But if they can stand ground and allow them linebackers to come up there, they only got to hold the double team for literally like 2 seconds.
And they've been better than advertised this year.
They've been impressive. I haven't really seen them get blown off the ball like I've seen in the preseason. So that was that's a credit to them for working at it. But if they hold that double team and let them linebackers come up there for about 2 seconds, it won't be a play.
Jason, do you have any fear in that regard?
Sure, yeah, just because everything we think we've known hasn't exactly gone to script so far. I'm curious to see how much Perrion Winfrey plays in this game, coming off the suspension.
Yesterday, when asked about it, Stefanski was real brief.
Well, he's not going to get into it. Perrion talked for quite a while about it, and
do you know?
I don't know.
Does anybody know?
Not to my
outside of the
knowledge.
team.
He said it was a one incident at practice. Perrion did. He said it wasn't a repetitive thing.
Right.
It was a one-time thing. He didn't really go into great detail. I haven't really asked around on it, just because there's other fires to put out.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's an ember in the corner. But when I heard about it, I initially thought, well, maybe he's trying to send the young man a message.
I think it's exactly what it was.
And hopefully a message has been received.
And he said, like Perrion said yesterday, every rookie goes on their own journey, and no, not every rookie gets suspended for a game, but this is the journey I'm on, and I'll learn from it, and I'll be a better pro.
I'm a little concerned, but not overly. I mean, the Bengals, who they played in Week 1, Bengals have one of the best defensive tackle combos in the league.
Yeah.
DJ Reader, who they got from the Texans, and B.J. Hill, who they got from the Giants. They're both top. I mean, DJ Reader's a top 10 defensive tackle, and B.J. Hill's a probably top 20 guy. So they got a good, stout defensive tackle group. But the Patriots really don't. I don't think they have anybody that's really stand out, and yet the Patriots kind of stopped them too. So, I mean, as you guys have said, the Browns have been pretty good at that position so far. It was one of our biggest concerns coming in, and so far they've done the job. I'm more concerned if Myles Garrett doesn't play, because having Myles Garrett makes everybody else's job easier. And they're already losing Clowney. So I'll be more concerned about
Who is Miles' backup? Because if Clowney isn't playing, Alex Wright is in. Who's the other guy?
Well, I was going to say Alex Wright, so I don't know, because Vinovich is out.
He's out too, yeah.
Is it,
not that he did anything.
Because I seen Rochelle get activated.
Right,
yes.
He may play.
Well,
I mean, he's going to play some.
He might need to.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I will say about Alex Wright is that he sets an edge.
He's impressed me.
He sets an edge. They ain't getting outside of him, so that's a win right there.
For a rookie,
yeah.
he's impressed me.
I don't have anything else on my sheet but Browns defense against Steelers offense. Am I leaving anything out? I mean, their receiving core.
That's it. The receiving core. I mean,
and
they got a talented receiving core.
But they're not tapping into.
And George Pickens came out and said that he was open 90% of the play.
Yeah, he hasn't. Everybody was going nuts about him in the fantasy community. He hasn't done anything the first 2 weeks.
Well, what surprised me about his comment is all the other receivers made a similar comment, and they said, we are open 100% of the time. So I guess he's.
Yeah, so I don't know what he's doing on those 10%.
I don't know what he's doing on those other 10%.
We got to ask Brooke Pryor about this, because there was some arguing on the sidelines.
Yeah, there is some definite.
Clearly, they're frustrated with the. I don't know if it's Trubisky specifically or with the game plan, whatever it is. They do have. You talked about the wide receivers. Deontay Johnson's a top 10, 15 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Claypool's solid. Pickens is a rookie. We don't know if he's any good or not. He's got some talent, but it's not like he was a first-round pick or anything. We'll see what he is. But even their tight end, kind of under the radar, Pat Freiermuth from Penn State, right?
Yeah.
He was good as a rookie last year. And you don't see, even the best tight ends, you don't see like tight ends make an impact as a rookie. Very rare.
Yeah.
And even the good ones.
It takes a minute.
You know,
Canada can't go out and get groceries or food, or he can't show his face in Pittsburgh.
I mean, he's got.
Because the offense, they're not used to seeing the offense being 29th, 30th, 31st
well, they've been
in different
categories.
categories.
What, though? The last couple of years, they have not been a good running team.
they would
because their
trade-
offensive line's been bad.
I know that folks were looking at Ben saying it's time.
Yeah.
If they could push a go back button and have Ben from last year,
They'd
they'd take that over what they're getting.
Yeah, I mean, Ben stunk last year.
He was better than this. They weren't ranked 29th in offense. And Ben,
I don't know. That's the stretch right there.
Ben was on the field.
Bill was bad.
When Ben was on the field, though, you always felt like if the game was close, oh, he's going to do something.
But he
He's
couldn't
gonna
throw
do
down the
something.
field at all.
What
I
the-
mean, I guess it's better than Trubisky,
What was
but
their
not
record?
much.
What they finish last year? 9-8.
9-8, I think.
Okay.
But listen,
Well,
all
they're 1-1 right now.
all they got to do.
I mean,
I know that's right. I guess that's what they
They're
are.
gonna have to get a Max Pros looks to buy the quarterback some time to let these routes develop.
What's funny is Trubisky suddenly became this hot commodity in the offseason.
For what reason, I have no idea.
Spent 1
Because
year
he
in Buffalo.
sat on the bench behind Josh Allen.
Spent 1 year in
makes
Buffalo
sense.
and sort of was cleansed.
Is he that bad, though, Jason?
I don't know.
I cannot
It's
think
because
he is
was
this
it's
bad.
a first round talent. I mean,
But what should
I
he
know
have been?
it doesn't
He had
matter.
one
He
year-
went.
He had 1 year in college that he was
He,
good.
and was the,
Yeah,
and
he
was
was
the
the
first.
He made a Pro Bowl in
He was
Chicago.
first quarterback taken.
he
wasn't
did
he?
have-
Wait a second.
He did have a good year
By
in
the
Chicago.
time you get the guys dropping out of the Pro Bowl, you have like 9 guys that are Pro Bowl
If
quarterbacks.
I
you
agree
look
with
at his
that.
stats, he had
They
a
were
good
okay.
year.
He
They
was
were a hell of a lot
okay.
better than they are now.
He was the first
And you know what?
quarterback
Here's
drafted.
what came to mind
Yeah,
when I
big
was
draft.
watching them
'Cause
struggle
he went after
offensively on
Myles
Sunday.
Garrett.
I'm comparing the talent he has now to the mess that he had in Chicago.
Right.
And it's not that different. I mean, he has more talent here
it's
in
better.
Pittsburgh, but his
Yeah.
line is atrocious. If you're going to look at one group
They got a Max
and
Pro.
try to figure out why they're 29th and 31st and all these different offensive categories, I'm pointing at the offensive line because
Yeah, but
they're
you
not
can't-
doing anything.
But you know what? Again, it's off to a bad start this year. But the Bengals had the worst offensive line in the league last year, and the Bengals' offense was great. So
Before we finish this topic, can you
Yeah.
please say something good about him? Because last week you dumped all over Joe Flacco, and he came in here and looked like
about Mitch
Joe,
Trubisky,
name it. Yeah.
he's a good athlete.
Okay,
I
good.
mean,
Okay.
that's something that they haven't really taken
I
advantage
just want to hear
of.
something positive. Because last week we killed Joe Flacco. We sat here and we're like,
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, we're going to win 100-0.
I mean, he got some mobility. That's always
Joe
a concern.
Flacco didn't play well because we said anything about him. He played well because the Browns had breakdowns in coverages.
He made plays, though.
He
You
made
can't take
plays.
that
He
away
made
from
great
him.
plays.
This is a vet, and he's still got a
He
great
made-
arm.
well,
I mean,
he made plays.
And
He
you know
did.
what?
I
As
give
I'm
him
watching
credit.
him, I'm thinking, okay, he's 37 or whatever, but he made plays when the
Yeah.
Browns left doors open.
Trubisky, they should use his athletic ability. He's a good runner.
What do you want to go to? You want to do internet reaction here?
We got to do the internet reactions. Let's just pull up this VO here first, just so you guys see Mitch Trubisky's ranks in the NFL. I know we
Okay.
put this up a second ago, but
I mean,
I
it's two
love-
games.
Yeah,
but
no,
29th in
yeah.
passing, 31st in yards per attempt, 28th in
I
longest
think
pass.
Roethlisberger had those same numbers last year, I bet.
I don't think so.
But I
mean,
put
Ben was
that
not
up there
that bad.
because it plays into our question.